Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the. Oh, wait, let me. I'm sorry about that. Let me get this fired up. Okay, let's go. Oh, sorry about this. All right, yo, welcome to the Art of War Nuggets, where we go and read from the Art of War while I'm testing the video and everything else. So as you'll see, I added these. Added a little video caption, just testing, and I put labels on the videos, just the ones which started with the nuggets. I didn't go to all of them because the ones in the beginning, and I didn't realize, like, I started reading the book 10 minutes into the testing. So this reading the Art of War is pretty, it's more concise than I thought. So, but anyway, um, we'll finish where we left off. Like I said, we got 30 minutes. That's why we're calling them nuggets. We're doing them in 30-minute clips instead of doing them for hours because I didn't realize it takes a long time to get through this book, even though it doesn't seem like it. Just going over the commentary and reading the comments of Sun Tzu and the people who make commentary on it, including mine, turns out to be it's a pretty good book, man. All right, so just again, what we'll do is for everybody who's just getting in, we're reading Art of War. I got the book here listed shown on the screen, but this is the book that I'm reading. If you actually have this book, the Shambhala Dragon Edition, you can read along. And so let's see where we are. I believe we are on page. Make sure I'm over here. Yeah, I think we're on page 90. All right, cool. So we're on page 90, and so let's begin. Again, my name is Big Nard. So it's not listed here, but we don't need a list here. But my name is Big Nard. So what we'll do is we say this on every video. Sun Tzu's commentary is first. Then I make my commentary, give it I call the Narderisms or Big Narderisms. I put my commentary in, and then I read the quotes of all of the warriors and generals of his era. All right, so let us begin. So Master Sun says, so it is that good warriors take their stand on ground where they cannot lose and do not overlook conditions that make an opponent prone to defeat. All right, so my breakdown on this is take the stand. Yeah, so and this goes to the lay of the land, right? So good warriors, they'll stand on the ground where it is advantageous to us. Like high ground is very advantageous. Dry ground versus wet ground in the environment. So you want to be in the most opportune position to do battle, right? So if we're all equal, when we're all equal, every advantage matters. That it leads to actual ultimate victory. And do not overlook conditions that make an opponent prone to defeat. Right. So lure them into conditions that make them prone to defeat, or attack them when you're in a good position and recognize that they're not in a good position. So that's what I believe he's saying in this. But it's very important, man. Lay of the land. Like even when we're doing a Call of Duty, so I throw this into the Call of Duty. A lot of the times, man, if you have the rooftops high ground, it's easier to shoot down than to shoot up. In fact, if you're in cover and I'm not, you might only have a small piece of my body showing, and I can see your whole entire, your whole body's a target where there's just a certain part of my body's a target. So that matters depending on that's positioning. That's where you at and where they are. So if I'm up top, you're down in the valley, I'm in the top of the mountain, you're in trouble because I got so many different advantages. Imagine just creating an avalanche, right? You can trigger an avalanche if somebody's down at the bottom, and then you decimate them through an avalanche. Just examples of that. So now Lee Kuan says, the army that finds its ground flourishes. The army that loses its ground perishes. Here, the ground means a place of strategic importance. Yeah, so it's basically what I was saying. Yeah, and that's all different situations. It could be in a building that only has one entrance, one exit, right? So now if we're covering that building, we know that you only have two options to come in and out. It makes life a lot easier. And that could also be a bad thing too, right? So again, it's all on how you position yourself. But I'm Lee Kwan, I'm good with that. So Du Mu says ground where one cannot lose means invincible strategy that makes it impossible for opponents to defeat you. Not overlooking conditions that make opponents prone to defeat means spying out the enemy's vulnerabilities, not missing any of them. All right, so again, Du Mu, this is good, man. Ground is where you cannot lose means an invincible strategy and makes it impossible for opponent to defeat you. So that goes back to what I was saying as well. And never overlook conditions that make the opponent prone to defeat, which means he's saying by means of spying out the enemy's vulnerabilities and not missing any of them. A vulnerability, like go back to Call of Duty, right? A vulnerability could be is somebody has to reload. They run out of ammo. We're in a gunfight. Run out of ammo, you have to reload. That's a vulnerability, right? So that gives me an advantage because now you have to reload. That time I can seize that opportunity, and that normally under a lot of circumstances turns out not well for the for the person that needs to reload. All right, so now we're back. Sun Tzu says, therefore, a victorious army first wins and then seeks battle. A defeated army first battles and then seeks victory. And that's 100% true. I think it's something he said like this prior in other parts of the book, but yeah, my take on that is that goes all the way back when we discussed it. When you're prepared, you're at your best. Invincibility is when everything is at its best, and you saying like he's saying you're making sure that you know their weaknesses, you know how to attack them. That makes victory certain. But if you go into a battle and not knowing, and then you're looking to get victory and already started a battle, then that's a fleeting outcome because you don't know. You're just basically you're based on chance and luck at this point, right? Hopefully they're not as prepared as you are. Hopefully they make mistakes. But if you see the vulnerabilities, you can actually prepare for vulnerabilities. Lead them in the traps. That's what it's about. The ambush is. Leave them in the traps. Set them up. Know what is important to them. Attack what's important. Have them divide, separate their groups in order to try to, try to protect certain key aspects of them. And that's knowing what is key for them, and also knowing your key ground, so you can protect your key ground too, which can be used as something to lure you or other different types of creative maneuvering. So any other types of creative maneuvers. All right. So Cacao says, this is the difference between those with strategy and those without forethought. And this is exactly the difference with those without strategy. Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat. So Cacao says, this is the difference between those with strategy and those without forethought. And I did notice I made a slight mistake. I forgot to forward and advance the commentary. So I think, yes, I made this one. So we're actually here. So you guys are following us. This is where I'm at. We're on page 91. And I was reading that last part here. This is what we just went over. Seeks battle, defeated army first battles, and then seeks victory. So Cacao said this is the difference between those with strategy and those without forethought, like thinking ahead. And that's planning. Thinking ahead is planning. So Yo Yang Ji says, in a military operation, first, determine a winning strategy. Now, this is direct. And only then send forth the troops. That's how you win before you even go into war. If you do not plan first, hoping to rely on your strengths, your victory is uncertain. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So if you don't plan, it's a gamble. And that's exactly what I was mentioning. It's basically you just taking a chance. Hopefully, you're playing a game of hope, and you don't want to play a game of hope in war. I'm talking, and this goes to everything. This goes to like even when I was telling you, I don't know if I mentioned, but there was a person that got terminated from a job that I worked at. So he called me up and was just because I told him, I said, I think that, but because I could tell by the lay of the land how the watching the environment, paying attention to what's happening, that's planning. Like this, you apply to your job as well. And then so my advice to him was, I said, listen, man, leave on your terms and stay when and leave when it's advantageous to you. But do understand so you're not surprised that it looks like they are planning to terminate you at some point. So be prepared. So eventually, they terminated him. Found ways to terminate him, but the difference is he wasn't shocked. Before he would have been devastated because he wasn't planning for it. But after we had the discussion, he understood, and then he adjusted his situation accordingly from a financial buffering perspective. See, now that actually was the art of war, right? So I was like a general paying attention to what's happening, not sending out spies, but listening to intel, um, observing what's going on, and then letting him know, what I saw from something that because he came to ask me a few questions, what I thought. So I gave him my feedback and my commentary, and it worked out. But that was a strategic, that was forethought, that was strategic planning on his behalf. But you could do that. It's like some sense the things that happen in war. You do it at your office, at the house with friends. It could be anything. There's always things that interconnect from that perspective. So that's what the concepts and ideologies are fundamental, and you can just apply them to all multiple parts of your life. So I just read Yo Yang Ji. Jia Lin says, if you set forth your battle lines and lightly advance without knowing your own condition or that of your opponent, you may be seeking victory, but in the end, you defeat yourself. And I agree with her too. So let's move on just for brevity. Master Sun says see, I'm getting it together. Oh no, I'm not getting it together. Okay, so we was already there. Those who use small, those who use arms well, it's supposed to be will. No, I'm sorry. Those who use arms well cultivate the way and keep the rules. Thus, they can govern in such a way as to prevail over the corrupt. I got those who use arms well cultivate the way and keep the rules. Thus, they can govern in such a way as to prevail over the corrupt. Now, that one's a little bit over my head. Kind of a little bit lost on that one. Because those who use arms well cultivate the way and keep the rules. That's the part where I'm confused with. Like I don't understand. Like those who use arms well and keep the rules. Thus, they can govern in such a way as to prevail over the corrupt. All right. So now I'm just going to take a jab at it. So what I believe this is what this is saying is this. That's what I said from a military perspective. Because when we're talking about govern, you know what? When I was saying govern, I was thinking of government individuals. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might be talking about governing the military themselves. So I guess use arms. Okay, so basically the military protects the nation. And the military itself can be governed in such a way as you prevail over the corruption, because there may be corruption within the ranks. Now, if they're talking government from a government perspective and talking corrupt, then that's a different angle. But I'm just going to assume that he's talking about from a militaristic perspective, right? All right, so let's see what Cacao has to say. Skilled users of arms first cultivate the way that makes them invincible, keep their rules, and do not miss defeatist confusion and opponents. Okay. So he's kind of on a militaristic aspect as well. So Lee Kwan says, using harmony to hunt down opposition, not attacking a blameless country, not taking captives or booty wherever the army goes, not raising the trees or polluting the wells, washing off and purifying the shrines of the towns and hills in the countryside you pass through, not repeating the mistakes of a moribund nation. All this is called the way, and it rules. When the army is strictly disciplined to the point where soldiers would die rather than disobey, rewards and punishments that are trustworthy and just are established. When the military leadership is such that it can achieve this, it can prevail over an opponent's corrupt, evil government. All right, so that kind of hybrid bends into most. All right, like I said, that last one went a little bit over my head. If anybody got any comments, let me go check the comments too. I'm sorry about that. If anybody got any comments, let me know. Interested to hear what you guys have to say in regards to that, like your take on it. Let's go to the next one. All right, so Master Sun says the rule of the military are 5: measurement, assessment, calculations, comparison, and victory. Those are the five rules of the military. The ground gives rise to measurements. Measurements give rise to assessments. Assessments give rise to calculations. Calculations give rise to comparisons. Comparisons give rise to victories. All right, now this is nice, man, because this is basically compiling everything to show you what is important. Obviously, it starts with measurements because you measure how big is the army, how big is this, what's the distance, what's the, like, all of those measurements you take, and then you use those measurements to make an assessment. When you make the assessment, you create calculations on what do we need to engage that based on our assessment. So now you're calculating that, and then when the calculations are happening, then you need the calculations to determine the comparison, because now I have all the numbers. So I see what you have. I measured your army. I see what your situation is and your conditions. I calculated what it would take in order to engage that, to engage the enemy. That's in the calculations, and then you do the comparison. Now that we have all this, how are we comparable to them in regards to battle? And then once we do that, when we know that we are at the advantage, now we go to take the we go to attack. And that's why it says it gives rise to victory. Comparisons give rise to victory. Okay, that's my take. So let's see what Cacao says. By the comparisons of measurements, you know where victory and defeat lie. So Wang Ji says the heavy prevail over the light. That was the end of their commentary on that. Oh man, I forgot to move forward again. I'm so into this, man. Like, I'm actually. Let me see. Oh, guess I gotta manually move it. Give me 1 second. So we're on that's page 92. So now I just read this one, the rule of the military. And let's see what the next one. So I guess this is not working. Oh, it is working. Up. Actually, we're at the end. This is the last one of the chapter. So Master Sun says, therefore, a victorious army is like a pound compared to a gram. A defeated army is like a gram compared to a pound. When the victorious get their people to go to battle as if they were directing a massive flood of water into a deep canyon, this is a matter of formation. And it's funny that he used water into a deep canyon when earlier I was talking about a valley, using just as an example of an avalanche, which is snowfall, which is a flow of snow. But so when the victorious get their people to go to battle as if they were directing a massive flood of water into a deep canyon, this is a matter of formation. Yeah, so that's amazing, man. And you notice the flood going into a deep canyon, right? So that's high ground. So when Master Sun is speaking, he's speaking on a lot of that's what I said, these sentences are very concise. Like he's used, every word is not wasted, because he says flood water into a deep canyon. And normally from my experience, just not in like war, but from my experience overall, high ground is always the best position to be in my opinion. And I forgot to move forward on that one too, right? Yep, this is the one we just did. Oh, so Dumu, let me tell you what Dumu had to say about it. He said, when water accumulates in a deep canyon, no one can measure its amount, just as a defense shows no form. When the water is released, it rushes down in a torrent, just as our attack is irresistible, meaning non-resistance to the attack, not that it's always irresistible in that sense. All right, so that's awesome. We still got time. We're going into chapter 5. Chapter 5 is about force. So let's go ahead and see what we got about force. Right. So we start with Wang Ji on this one, just I guess making a commentary on force. So he says force means shifts in accumulated energy or momentum. Skillful warriors are able to allow the force of momentum to seize victory for them without exerting their strength. Yeah, momentum is very important. Like you guys, lady guys and ladies, you're watching sports and things like that. You see when a team gets momentum, and once momentum get going, it's very difficult to stop it. Like when somebody makes the threes and they just keep popping threes, they're on fire. So we say fire, or they're in the zone. But that zone is the force. All right, so govern. So here it is. Govern. This is Master Son. Govern a large number as though govern a small number is a matter of division into groups. Battling a large number as though battling a small number is a matter of forms and calls. So governing a large number as though governing a small number is a matter of division. All right. And battling a large number as though battling a small number is a matter of forms and calls. Now, the forms and calls, I don't understand what that means. So, but members governing a large member, though governing a small number is division. Okay, so if you want to, instead of governing large groups, you break them into smaller groups. So that's, but there's still a large contingency. And I know you have legions and battalions and different rankings of classes of troops and amounts of troops for each different ranking. So that would be the same thing for a general, right? Generals in control of everything. But the forces are broken down in divisions. Battling a large number as though battling a small number is a matter of forms and calls. Don't know what that means, so I'm going to leave that one alone. I can't even, they didn't have phones back then, so I don't think, so I don't know what calls it is. All right, so Cacao says, we'll just follow up with Cacao. Cacao says forms and calls. He answered it. Forms and calls refer to the formations and signals used to dispose troops and coordinate movements. Thank you, Cacao. And that was the only line. I guess they had trouble with that one too, because he's the only one that made a critique of it or a comment of it. And his comment was explaining exactly what I was trying to figure out what it meant. So I like what he came up with, because I had nothing for it. But I'm going to read that one time. Forms and calls refers to the formations and signals used to dispose troops and coordinate movement. All right, that's cool. And then we go to the next. All right, so making the armies able to take on opponents without being defeated is a matter of unorthodox and orthodox methods. Making armies being able to take on opponents without being defeated is a matter of unorthodox and orthodox. Now, the unorthodox and orthodox basically refers to creativity. So being creative on the field, being a creative problem solver, excuse me, is important. So I believe this is what this is basically saying. If you're able to adapt, then you're able to and without being defeated, then you're making changes, whether orthodox or unorthodox changes. Unorthodox is creative, like surprise attacks, ambushes. Other ones are direct attack, which would be an orthodox method, in my opinion. So then Jia Lin says, when you meet opponents head on with coordinated surprise attacks all around, you can always win and never lose hope. Okay, so that's exactly what I would just said, though, right? Orthodox was saying, head on, attacking them head on, and then the unorthodox method would be surprise attacks, ambushes, and things like that. So pretty much we're in sync. Ho Yang Ji, a military body goes through myriad transformations in which everything is blended. Nothing is not orthodox. Nothing is not unorthodox. If the militia is raised for a just cause, that is orthodox. If it adapts, and that's the words I was using earlier, to change in the face of the enemy, that is unorthodox. What is orthodox for you cause opponents to see as unorthodox. Cause opponents to see as unorthodox. What is unorthodox for you cause opponents to see as orthodox. The orthodox is also unorthodox, and the orthodox is also orthodox. Generally, in military operations, there is always the orthodox and the unorthodox, or the straightforward and the surprise. Victory without use of both orthodox and orthodox methods is a lucky win and in what amounts to a brawl. And I use that time, it becomes luck. Like when you're doing it to that point, it actually becomes luck. And that's basically what I'm saying, adapting to the environment, changing up the situations, and being a creative solutions provider, because the solution is victory, right? So that's my take on that. Now, Zhang Yu said various people have different explanations of what is orthodox and what is unorthodox. Orthodoxy and unorthodoxy are not fixed, but are like a cycle. Emperor Taizong of the Tang Dynasty, a famous warrior and administrator, spoke of manipulating opponents' perceptions of what is orthodox and what is unorthodox, then attacking them unexpectedly, combining both into one, becoming inscrutable to opponents. Man, this like I said, this is some good stuff, man. And so right now we got enough for one more. One more, yeah, I'd say two more. See if I got them prepared. Let me see. I might not. Yeah, so we're on page 94. So I'll say we'll just move on. So for Master Sun says, for the impact of armed forces to be like stones thrown on eggs is a matter of emptiness and fullness. For the impact of armed forces to be like stones thrown on eggs is a matter of emptiness and fullness. Now that one I don't understand, because the concepts of emptiness, I guess that's like a Taoist or Zen concept. I'm not full of emptiness in the terms of warfare, but I'm gonna take a poke at it, right? So for the impact of armed forces to be like stone thrown is a matter of emptiness and fullness. Now, obviously, I'm assuming that emptiness means that you're not weak, but you're on a I'm gonna say weak. Emptiness most likely means weakness. You don't have motivation. Your morale is low, like, so you're empty. And fullness is when we're all in sync. We're our morale is high. We have strong trust. All of the strong major emotional aspects in line. Everything's in sync. Then you're full. So I think that's what they mean. So if you're full, it's like throwing rocks on eggs. Eggs don't stand a chance against rocks. And they just throw it on eggs too. So that goes back. Everything he says is advantageous. And so he's most likely throwing down towards eggs. Let's do one more, because right now we have 30. We'll do this last one to wrap it up. Oh, wait, I didn't do the commentary. So Cacao said, attack complete. Let me go back. He says attack complete emptiness with complete fullness. Yeah, it's pretty much what I was saying. Zhang Yu, a later chapter says that good warriors make others come to them and do not go to others. This is the principle of emptiness and fullness of others and self. When you induce opponents to come to you, then their force is always empty. As long as you do not go to them, your force will always be full. Attacking emptiness with fullness is like throwing stones on eggs. Eggs are sure to break. We'll wrap it up there. So listen, this was a good one. So we're gonna wrap it up. 94. I just want to put a marker there. So we got 94, and see you guys next time. But listen, thanks for attending. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Like I said in the comments, throw your feedback. This is great. Oh, actually, let me give a couple of things. Go check out my website, the Godier. Check out Godier. I'm putting it in the screen here. And like I said, so I'm practicing with this as well. So this is all part of practice and everything. So yeah, so check out Godier.com. You can check out BigNard007 at Twitch. You can watch me play Call of Duty. In the Call of Duty, so a lot of the Art of War tactics are applied in Call of Duty. So check me out on Twitch TV, BigNard007. And I got a couple of partners that I play with. We got Boyce Watkins, drboycewatkins.com. Check him out. He plays with us, but he also answers financial questions. So while we're playing, you can join. Watch his chat, start asking questions, and get your questions answered by a person who's he has a PhD in finance and economics, and definitely can help you. Another gentleman that teaches the game. It has a lot of this strategy. He reaches. I don't know if he read this book, which most likely he did. I'm actually gonna follow up with him next time we play. To find out if he actually read this. Gmaculate Gaming, man. You got to check out Gmac. All right, so that's pretty much it. Want to play with us? This is to take this down. That's my game tag. Subscribe to the gaming, to the chats and everything. Check out the Godier website. I got blogs that I'm writing, and I got a lot of stuff going. Got music. So I do music. A lot of hip hop actually you see in the background. Albums that I'm working on. I'm try to keep it positive. In the beginning, releasing some of the old stuff that I had, and then moving into there. But definitely check it out. Let me know what you guys think. It was a pleasure. See you next time. And have a good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everything, depending on where you at. I appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks again. Take care. Oh, let me try something. Let me try to add this. Give me one more second. I want to put this clip in and see how this plays out. Looks on the feed. Let me just see. Hopefully there's a delay. And I can see it. Yeah. So we got a slight delay. I think YouTube does a 10-second delay. So I just want to see. Put some volume on this and see how it comes out. Oh, so I already missed it. I'm just gonna hit this video again because I remember we're testing at the same time. So it's not I'm reading, but I'm also testing to increase the experience, the user experience. Even trying to work on my inflection, my delivery, how I'm talking, clarity, and stuff like that. So anything you see that I can improve on, please let me know. Definitely appreciate it. Because as things go on, they're just going to get better and better. And that's where we're at. So I'm going to hit this video just to see how it shows up in the... Yeah. All right. So interesting, because I just want to do that the test. This is still part of the testing aspect. All right, there we go. So you know what's funny? So what I see on my screen is not always what's happening in the video. This is the testing part stuff. But everything that's running in the video that you guys are seeing is actually smooth. So weirdly enough, the screen may act up every once in a while here, but I see on the streams that it is flawless. Like that video that I showed, it was stuttering. Tell me what you guys think about that video. If you like it, if I should change it. That's like I said, the first thing, adding a video. So I'm gonna be adding functionality to it. If you got anything, ideas of what I can add or what I could do to make it improve the experience, let me know. So I'm definitely interested to know what you have to think. This is officially, I'm headed out, and I definitely appreciate you guys and signing off. Man.